Okay, good evening to all of you. So we'll have today's class with Michael reaction and Robinson annulation. So is this slide visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's start this. What is Michael reaction? Michael reaction we have already studied before, right? It is basically 1,4 addition in an alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. You all know it, right? So this is what it is. You take basically a nucleophile that is coming from here, and you take an alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. Okay. So then this nucleophile, which can be generated after using a base, which forms here as an enolate. That's basically the nucleophile, and then you have a alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. So the possibilities are addition of 1,2 to this carbonyl center and addition of 1,4 to this double bond center. If you remember, I told already before that this 2 center, this is your hard center, and this is 4 center, this is your soft center. So if the nucleophile is hard, then hard combination will happen, so you get 1,2 addition product. But if your nucleophile is soft, then you get soft combination. In that case, 1,4 addition will take place. Now, what makes the nucleophile soft? When it is, let's say, conjugated, it's not point charge. In those kind of cases, the nucleophile will become soft. If it is radical like. Another thing also I told you that the 1,4 addition is basically a thermodynamically controlled product, because this product is more stable than the 1,2, and 1,2 is basically the kinetically controlled product. Why 1,2 addition product is not very stable? Because in that case you have a more crowding, or it's a bit more sterically hindered. That is why the 1,4 addition product becomes more stable than the 1,2 addition product. Okay. So this is your 1,4 conjugate addition. This is your thermodynamically controlled product. 1,2 addition product, which is kinetically controlled. Okay, sometimes what happened, if the reaction is reversible in nature, then once it forms the kinetically controlled product, it over time it can go back to the thermodynamically controlled product. Okay. Let me give you one example. Okay, before that, so this is basically, if this is the reaction, then this enolate will come back, this double bond will attack at 4 position. So this forms basically an O negative. If it catches a proton, this becomes your thermodynamically controlled product. But if this double bond attacks to this C double bond O, then you get this product, which R2. This is the direct addition, kind of aldol product. So this is basically your 1,2 addition or kinetic product. So here, because it forms kind of a tetrahedral carbon, sp3 carbon with 4 substituent, this becomes sterically more hindered than the conjugate addition product, this one. Okay. So what I said, that sometimes if the reaction is reversible in nature, then the kinetically controlled product would again go back to the thermodynamically controlled product. Let's see an example. Let's see this enolate and this alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. Okay. So you generate the enolate first. This is the enolate. So oxygen, this negative come, and this double bond can attack. So this can attack to your 1,2 or 1,4. Let's say it attacks to 1,2. Okay. In this case, this product is not very stable, so it is also in. This is the aldol state. This is also in equilibrium with these two. But when this conjugate addition product happens at this center, then you get this product, which becomes more stable. Okay. So which does not like to go back much into this one. So initially if it comes to here also, later on it again over time it slowly comes back to this one. Clear this slide? Any question? Okay. So now what kind of factors affect the reverse step? I mean, which factors, if it is there in the starting material, that would lead this reaction to go back to the reverse direction? So there are two factors. One is the branching on the nucleophile. Another is stability of the enolate. If the enolate is very stable, or if there is a branching in the nucleophile, then it would like to go back to the starting material, and then again that would go to the thermodynamically controlled product. So these two factors leads to the thermodynamic product. Okay. So this I have already told. This is your soft center, which will lead to Michael product. This is your hard center, which will lead to the Aldol product. Okay. Now, reactivity of the carbonyl center also dictates whether it would be an 1,2 addition product or it would be an 1,4 addition product. For example, if you see this series, this is an aldehyde, this is a ketone, this is an ester, this is an amide. From aldehyde to ketone, the reactivity of this carbonyl carbon decreases. From ester to amide, again the reactivity decreases in this direction. So that means what? In this direction, your 1,2 addition reaction would be much lower. That means your 1,4 addition step or the Michael reaction would be more favorable in this series. Makes sense, right? It's very simple. Now we will see some examples. So if we take, let's say, benzene, here benzene will act as the nucleophile if we treat with this compound in presence of AlCl3. We get this product. What is the mechanism? AlCl3 first coordinates with this lone pair oxygen so that this becomes electron deficient. This double bond also becomes electron deficient. Then benzene attacks to this center, followed by the chlorine, which goes out from this AlCl3, picks up this proton, and later on this double bond also goes back. It picks up another this proton, which chlorine picked up here, so that you get this product. Okay. This example we have already learned it before. So, but here again we will give this example. So in this case, the nucleophile is basically an amine, actually a primary amine. Okay, and we take this kind of Michael acceptor. So then we take two equivalent of this. So this amine would attack to this 4 position to lead to 1,4 addition product. Okay, so basically you get this one, and then if you treat this one with a base, basically intramolecular Claisen ester condensation will take place. Intramolecular Claisen ester condensation is known as Dickmann reaction. Okay. So this negative charge will then attack to this ester molecule to form this cyclic product. Now this cyclic product can be hydrolyzed in presence of sodium hydroxide in water. What it will form? It will just cleave this ester bond. It will form carboxylate anion. Then if you add acid, it will be acidified, and if you heat it, then what will happen? This is a beta keto acid. Beta keto acid, if you do heat treatment, they will lead to decarboxylation. Okay, via a 6-membered transition state. Okay, so this lone pairs will pick this hydrogen, this bond will break, this bond will break. So CO2 will leave, it will form an OH. This will now do the keto-enol tautomerism, so that you get this ketone. This is a nice example. Many times it comes in exam. Okay, I'll just give the reagents, like first step NaOH in ethanol, second step NaOH in water, third step HCl water, fourth step heat, or maybe third step HCl water and heat. What will happen? Then this is the sequence that you have to follow. Okay. Okay. So our actually last part that we will be learning on Monday is basically the active methylene compound and its reactions. We have already introduced active methylene compounds when we learned the Neufenagel reaction that involved active methylene compounds. So you already know what is active methylene compound. This is nothing but the methylene group which is connected with two strong electron withdrawing group, so that if this CH2 is being picked up by a base, this negative charge will be stabilized by these two groups. We also discussed earlier that there are many different active methylene compounds are available. By simply varying these functional groups, such as ethyl acetoacetate, you can replace this COOET with an COCH3. You can also replace with CN, then it will be ethyl cyanoacetate. There could be 2CN, 2OAT, 2COCH3, many different possibilities. We have already learned those before. Okay. So this compound is named has a name diethyl malonate. So this is beta diester, kind of an active methylene compound. So it has many useful features, such as it can form very stable enolate, because if you know the negative charge that forms here can be in resonance with either of this CO2ET group. Now once we add this diethyl malonate group through this carbon, one of these carbon CO2ET can be removed, because these are actually in the beta position. Okay. So that means they form kind of a beta ketoester sort of moiety, and that means after you do hydrolysis followed by acidification and heat treatment, one of the COOH group will be removed. Okay. And remaining acid or ester can be converted into other functional groups. These are the three useful features that can be obtained from diethyl malonate. Let's give an example. So we have this diethyl malonate, and we have this as a Michael acceptor. It's called diethyl fumarate. What will happen if you use base? It will pick a proton from here. This is active methylene compound. So it will generate a negative charge. This negative charge will attack to this center, because 1 for addition. So Michael acceptor, Michael addition will take place. So you get this compound. Okay, it's kind of a tetraester product. If we do hydrolysis followed by acidification, we will get some other product. In the next, after 1 or 2 slides, we will give again. We will come back to this again. Okay, no, here actually in the next slide. Here we have this. Okay, so we have this diethyl malonate. In this case, we take this ethyl crotonate, not this succinate one, not this fumarate one, but we take crotonate. Then this negative charge, in presence of base, this negative charge picks up a proton from here and attacks to this center, so that you get this compound. This and this basically adds up here. So this is how you get it. Okay. Now this one, if we do acid hydrolysis, this will become COOH, this will become COOH, this will become COOH. Now these two are basically in the beta position. That means they form a beta keto acid sort of arrangement. one of these COOH will be easily removed, so that you get this compound. Now this compound, if you treat with acetic anhydride, you can form a cyclic anhydride. Okay, in this case, actually in the exam sometimes the question comes that how do you justify that this anhydride formation, because here the entropy is decreasing, entropy is increasing, but it is cyclizing. So how do you justify the formation of this cyclic anhydride? So then actually you have to show the mechanism. If we take acetic anhydride, one of these OH will attack to this one and get acetyl. So here you will remove one acetic acid molecule, then this intramolecularly one acid will attack here, another molecule of acetic acid will remove, and you get this anhydride. So basically you take two molecules, this compound and acetic anhydride, and you make three molecules, two molecules of acetic acid, one molecule of the product. So here basically the entropy is increasing, that basically favors formation of this cyclic anhydride. Got it clear? Okay. Then it says that the catalyst, the base that we are taking here, like sodium ethoxide, most of the time we take it in excess, a large amount. But we could also take this base in a catalytic amount. Will that be possible if we take catalytic amount of base and do the reaction? The answer is yes, it is possible, only if the negative charge that forms here in the molecule has a pKa which can take the acidic proton of this beta diketone or of this nucleophile. Did you understand what I said? What I said is, the question is, can we do Michael reaction in presence of catalytic amount of base? The answer is yes, we can do this reaction only if the negative charge that is generated in the product has a pKa which is suitable for picking up the proton from the reactant nucleophile, or from the beta diketone, or from the active methylene compound that we take to do the reaction. Okay, let me give you the example, then you will understand. So this is the starting material, PaCO CH double bond CH PH, and we take acetyl acetone, okay, beta diketone. In this case, one can take a catalytic amount of KOH and tetrabutyl butyl triethyl ammonium chloride as the phase transfer catalyst. In that case, it is observed that this reaction is catalytically controlled. What happens here? Initially, this KOH, this OH minus picks up this proton, forms a negative charge. This negative charge is well resonance stabilized with the two C double bond O group. Then this O negative charge attacks to this center, because this is a 4 carbon, 1,4 addition, to form this O negative. Now the question is, this O negative, whether if this comes back, can it picks up a proton from this static material? If yes, then we can do this reaction. So in this case, this O negative comes back, this basically picks up a proton from this starting material, so that this again forms catalytically. So then this again can react to this one, and this is becoming a product. Okay?
Sir?
Yeah.
Sir, what is the other catalyst that you have written below the arrow?
Yeah, that is actually called butyl triethyl ammonium chloride. That is not a catalyst. That is called, okay, that is also called phase transfer catalyst, but the role of this is a little bit different. What it does is, so let's say KOH, you have taken potassium hydroxide, right? But the starting material are basically two organic molecules. As you know, organic molecules does not mix well with water. Not many of the time. Only ethanol, acetone, those things are miscible, but not this kind of molecule. These molecules will not be mixed in water very well. So how does this reaction happens? This OH minus, how can it pick up this proton? Because they will form a different phase. Because KOH will remain in aqueous phase and this molecule will remain in organic phase. How do you do this reaction? That is why you do need this sort of phase transfer catalyst. It's called PTC, phase transfer catalyst. What does it do? This Cl minus generally replaced by OH minus. So this catalyst sometimes becomes BN-ET3N plus OH minus. This OH minus is this one, picks up this proton here and then this step continues. Is it clear? Did you understand?
Yes, sir. But if we are using a ammonium based phase transfer catalyst, will ammonium hydroxide do the same job, or will it act like KOH only?
You can think in either way, does not matter. So if you are thinking it as a phase transfer catalyst, you can also think that this phase transfer catalyst make it possible that both the phase come to a contact. Okay, so you can think that this N plus O minus, OH minus or Cl minus can transfer the OH minus from water to the aqueous to the organic layer. You can think in that way, or you can also think that because this is a kind of amphiphilic sort of molecule, so it will also bind with the organic molecule, it will also bind with the aqueous part. So you can also think that they bind with this organic part in such a way that this organic part could be easily come to the contact with the aqueous part. You can also think in that. Both are possible. Okay.
So, and can we also use like organic base here, like ETO minus or something?
Yes, of course. Organic base is totally fine to use. You can use it. But here basically this concept wanted to be, we wanted to establish this concept that can we do this in catalytic amount of base?
Yes, sir.
That is why this kind of thing came up. But you can anyway do this kind of sodium ethoxide in ethanol. These are mostly used. These kind of things are generally not used because in this case you do also have to use a phase transfer catalyst. So these are not mostly used, but to establish a concept, sometimes these are shown.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So sometimes it has been also observed that you do not need basically a base to generate a enolate, but the enol, not the enolate. The enol can sometimes do this kind of Michael addition. How that is possible? That becomes possible if the reactivity of the alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound is more, if the Michael acceptor is strong. Okay. In this case, we see that if we take the 6-membered ring, then obviously it forms this enol form. Okay, because it has two keto group. So that means the acidity of this hydrogen atom here is highly acidic in nature. So that is why it could easily form an enol form. That enol form could be trapped with a Michael acceptor, like here methylphenyl ketone MBK, to give this product. So here you do not need an enolate ion. Of course, enolate would give this product, but it could be done in a milder condition. Why would you go to a harsh condition if it can be done in a milder condition? This reaction is a very good example because in this case you take acrolein. Here it is an aldehyde, so which is a bit more reactive. So that means here this double bond is also highly activated. This reaction can be done in presence of simple water and room temperature. Okay, because here also this will be this acidity of this proton is also very high, so the enol could be easily formed, and this Michael acceptor is highly reactive, highly very good Michael acceptor. That is why this reaction could be done even at room temperature. Okay. Okay, we have already discussed about this enamines in the enamine chemistry that we discussed last time. So these enamines that are basically, we told that this can be think or thought of a stable enol equivalent. These enamines can be thought of a stable enol equivalent, and that is why they could easily react to this Michael acceptor to give this kind of product, Michael product. So in this case, this lone pair comes, this double bond can attack. Okay? And once it comes back, then you get this product. But if you take, if you hydrolyze this one, this lone pair comes, this comes, so then you form this kind of double bond, water attack to the center. So this amine part goes away, so that you get this keto compound. Okay. Another way to trap the enols or the enolate is basically called silyl enol ether. You will learn a lot, okay, if not lot, at least some more of this silyl enol ether in your higher classes, maybe in the 3rd year or 4th year. So here I would give very brief example. What do you do is that, let's say we have this kind of a carbonyl compound. If we add base, it picks up this proton and forms an enolate. So this double bond and O minus. So sometimes these enolates are trapped so that this double bond or this nucleophile becomes stabilized. To do that, we will use this trimethyl silyl chloride, and this O negative which generates here after picking up this proton reacts to this silyl group and chlorine leaves, so that this OSI-Na3 forms. This is called silyl enol ether. So this is your enol and this is your silyl, and this is basically an ether kind of linkage because you have silicon here. So this is called silyl enol ether. This is a stable enol equivalent. Okay. With this, if we take a Michael acceptor in presence of some catalyst, so TiCl for this catalyst activates this Michael acceptor a bit more, so that this enol ether could react to this one in a facile way. This is the product. After hydrolysis, the enol ether will be deprotected and you get this kind of ketone. So you get the diketone. This is the mechanism. TiCl4 coordinates with this oxygen. This double bond becomes highly activated. This lone pair comes back. This double bond attacks. So that you get this one. Hydrolysis will lead to this product. Okay. Okay. So this much is all about the Michael reaction. Do you have any question up to this now? Up to this part? Okay, then let's go to the second part, which is called Robinson annulation. So this reaction is very, very, very important, because I told you that this reaction was used for a long time when people want to make these steroid-based drugs. This reaction is used to make ring B and C of the steroid molecule. Okay, we'll see those examples now. But what is Robinson annulation? Robinson annulation is nothing but a combination of Michael reaction and aldol condensation. Very simple. You might have thought it's very difficult or something very new, but it's basically a combination of two reactions which already basically combination of first Michael reaction, second aldol condensation. Then the product that you get is overall called Robinson annulation. Okay. So this is the definition: the sequential reaction of Michael and aldol to the formation of a new 6-membered ring. This is called Robinson annulation. It may not be always 6-membered, but a ring formation. Okay, basically the aldol condensation. We take first this kind of a compound and a Michael acceptor here. This proton is already acidic, you know, because of this 2 ketone group. You take a base, this proton is picked up, form a negative charge, attack at this center, so that you get this compound. Now you have an acidic proton here, enolizable. Again, in presence of base, this CH3 will form CH2 negative. This negative will attack here, followed by dehydration, and you get the double bond. So this is your intramolecular aldol product. This is your Michael product. This is your aldol product. So overall, this is called Robinson annulation. Okay. Okay, this reaction is used for the synthesis of A and B. Okay, sorry, I told B and C. This is basically A and B ring of the steroid molecules, and that is why this reaction is very, very important. Let's see some example, and then you will understand how it is. Okay, now first let's see the mechanism of this. Then we will see the examples. Mechanism, it is very simple, you can easily guess. So this proton is very acidic. Take base, form negative charge, is in resonance with this one. Methyl phenyl ketone, Michael acceptor, this comes back, this double bond attacks here. So it forms this Michael addition bond. This is the step 1. Now you have a base. This base can pick up a proton from here. You also have acidic proton here and here. But those protons, if picked up, will not lead to favorable product. That also has a reason, because in that case it will form a kind of a bicyclic compound, and at the bridgehead position this kind of double bond formation will not be suitable. Okay, that we have also seen previously. That is why only this proton will be picked up in this case selectively. It forms a enol again. This enol then attack to this carbonyl compound. Then this O negative picks up a proton from ethanol. Then you have a base, and then after dehydration you got this product. So this last step is usually happened in the heating condition and also in a mild condition, like also mainly in an acidic condition. We will see some example where you will see that kind of reaction. So this is how basically you get this Robinson annulated product. Okay. Now see some example. So here we take first 1,3-dicarbonyl compound. Okay, this is a ketoester. So ketoesters are very good compound for Robinson annulation, because this ester moiety increases the acidity of this proton, and this ester is also not very electrophilic. So they also don't lead to side reaction. So this negative charge react here, and then this CH3 reacts back here, followed by dehydration leads to this product. In this case, you might have noticed that in the first step we take potassium methoxide, but in the second step we take potassium carbonate, because the Michael reaction is generally takes place in a strong base condition. So that is why you can take this potassium methoxide or sodium methoxide or sodium ethoxide. If this is OET, you can take sodium ethoxide. Because this is OAME, we have taken potassium methoxide. Okay. But for the second step, here potassium carbonate has been taken, which is a weaker base. Okay. Methanol and reflux, the heating condition, for this aldol condensation followed by dehydration step. Okay. Sometimes, if this Michael acceptor is very stable, weak base could also do both the reaction. For example, if you see in this case, Because of this COCH3 group and CO280 group, this becomes like an active methylene compound. Okay, so here weak base could easily pick up this proton, and that could easily react here, followed by this acetic acid and reflux. In this condition, the aldol could also take place, followed by dehydration could also happen. In this case, this amine, piperidine and acetic acid, they basically form kind of a mild buffer system, which is favorable for doing both the reactions, which is Michael plus aldol. This I have already told, the COCH3 is highly electrophilic, highly electron withdrawing in nature, so this aldol is very much facile. Okay. Okay, sometimes, so there are then 3 steps that we have seen earlier. First step is Michael, second step is aldol, third step is dehydration. Okay, so dehydration and aldol basically are considered in one step, but some of the reactions, in some of the reactions, all these 3 steps are separated, so that the yield, the final or the overall yield of the reaction increases drastically. Okay. For example, if you take these 2 compounds, here the first step would take place in just water medium. We have already seen this reaction before. So this picks up this proton from here. It takes 5 days, and it could lead to this product. Okay, and then if we take a mild base such as piperidine and acetic acid, then it picks up this proton from here and do this aldol product. Then the last step is done in very mild acid medium, prussic acid, paratoluene sulfonic acid, and then the dehydration would take place here, so that you get very high yield in all the reaction. In stepwise manner. Okay. We have just 2 more examples and then we are almost done. So enamines, we already discussed that enamines are a good stable enol equivalent that could lead to the Michael reaction. But these enamines are also very good for the Robinson annulation as well. Okay. This example will show it very clearly. So this is kind of an enamine that we have seen before. This double bond comes, this enol could attack to this center, so that you get this kind of intermediate. Now in this intermediate, these protons are again enolizable, so this OH comes back as a ketone, then again CH3 could be enolized. This enol now could react here, so this is enolized, so OH bond, this lone pair comes, this double bond attacks here, then you get this kind of intermediate. Okay, and then if you hydrolyze this one, this nitrogen will be protonated, this bond comes, this leaves, so that you get this as a product. Okay, so for enamine chemistry, you have quite many examples actually. Okay, this is the last slide. Now we have already told that Robinson annulation means it's a Michael reaction followed by aldol condensation. But Robinson annulation could also take place if we do Michael reaction followed by Claisen-Ester cyclization. Instead of aldol, do the Claisen-Ester cyclization. Okay. So we can take this ethyl acetic diethyl malonate and this Michael acceptor. We take a base. So this base picks up this proton from here from a negative charge. This negative charge attacks here, form this kind of intermediate, which after picking up this proton forms this one. Now in this intermediate, if you have a base, this proton that is here is most acidic. This proton will be picked up to form this negative charge. But this negative charge cannot attack to this carbonyl center, because in this case it will form a 4-membered ring. So this intermediate has no fate further. So this intermediate will come back here because this is a reversible reaction. So this comes back here. Now we have another acidic proton that is in COCH3 part. If this proton picks up here, we got an enolate here. Now this enolate has a possibility to attack one of these ester group because these are two equivalent. This reacts here so that a cyclic intermediate is formed. Okay, so O negative and OET comes back. C double bond O. Now we can hydrolyze this one with KOH so that you get C double OH, make it acidic. So that C double OH, C double O minus here, acidification, C double OH, do the heat treatment, then you have decarboxylation because it's a beta keto acid. If you heat it, one of the acid will go, so that you get this compound. After ketoenol tautomerism, you get this compound. This compound is very important. This is called dimidone. Okay, many times in the exam it comes, how do you synthesize dimidone? Okay, in the next class we will do the retrosynthesis of dimidone. Then again we will do this pathway. Okay, so many times in the exam this question comes, how do you synthesize dimidone? Okay. Okay, so we will stop here. So let me know, do you have any question so far? Is there any question? Did you understand, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so this is all about Michael reaction and Robinson annulation. We have just one more topic left, and that is active methylene compound and its reaction. So basically what we will see in the next class is we will see many different compounds, how we can synthesize those using active methylene compound. That is our last topic. We will finish that in the next class, in the Monday. Okay. Okay. Just hold on. I will download the attendance sheet. Okay. One more thing I want to have any comment. Okay, Divangana, you can download the video and you can watch it later. If you have missed any part, this will be anyway there in the files. Okay, two things I wanted to mention. First thing is you got my email yesterday, right? So I sent along with the list who will be presenting when. So yes, I mentioned, yeah. I mentioned few of the things there, and I think two more things I should mention. One thing is, when you make the slides, do not take the content entirely from my teaching material. Then there is no new learning, no? If you take the teaching material from my classes, then other people cannot learn. So take the examples from either net or from different books. Okay, then it will be more interesting. Then we can ask many questions. So that is the first thing. And second thing is that so because this is in online mode, many people may not be able to download it, or there might be some problem with the network, which usually happens. So I suggest please upload your presentation in the files section. So where you download my lecture videos, lecture PPTs, so there I have created another folder called presentation. Okay, there you upload your presentation, whatever slides you have, upload your presentation, and then people can download it in advance. If they have any problem in the network, they can download it in advance and they can listen. So yeah, this has 10 marks as I told earlier. So you must make new slides with new examples and make it interesting as much as possible. Some of the things, like basic things like Cramp's rule, when you are describing the rule, you cannot do new things, right? That you need to follow the basic ones, but the examples that you can present can be new one. The definition can be the existing one, but the examples could be new ones. Okay, this also I'll mention in the reply in the mail.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So one thing, when we do the presentations, can
Yeah.
you enable the, actually you are the organizer of this meeting and
Yeah.
only you can present your screen.
Yeah.
So I am not authorized to do it. So when we do the presentations, can you give us access to
Of
that?
course, of course, of course, of course. That time we will not have this part, because that time probably we will not record also. Okay. So this I make this one because then in that case recording would be possible. Nobody can interrupt. But otherwise, if somebody plays the recording button, then this recording will be gone. So it would be difficult for all of you. That is why I do it in this way. But when you will be presenting, maybe we will not record. Maybe we can also. But in that case, I will give the access to all of you so that
Yes.
you can also present it.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that is all. I will reply these two more points in that email again. And so prepare well for the exam on 25th, and then from 26th onwards we will have this presentation.
Sir, can you, you said yesterday that the exam on 25th has an open syllabus. Can you again clarify what?
No, that is basically the same that we were practicing, like the class test, like 20-25 marks, and then after this aldol and Claisen ester condensation, whatever we have taught from that one, because those part we have not covered. Okay.
Okay.
From that syllabus we can give these questions.
So we will have regular class on Monday, right?
Yeah, we will have class on Monday. We will have the last class on Monday for finishing this active methylene compound.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. After this Monday, the next Thursday will be exam. Then on next Friday onwards, we will have the presentation. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, then we will.
Thank you, sir.